Listen, I don't know how much more of this I can take with my nerves being this bad. It's down to the final seven, and just my nerves is bad. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How y'all doing? All right, let's get into Survivor Season 50, Episode 11. So the episode opens up, and we see that Aubrey and Devins are having this little talk, and Devins is everyone's basically still riding off of the high and the adrenaline rush that happened with the prior tribal council. You know, now the cash reward is for winning Survivor 50 is going to be $2 million thanks to Mr. Rick Devins. And Aubrey is happy that Devins made himself more of a target by causing all of this chaos at the last tribal council. So they're just discussing that. We also see other people talking around the tribe, and the thing is, people still don't know that Jonathan was in cahoots with Stephanie to come up with that plan behind, I forgot who they were trying to get out, because everything is running together at this point, but they don't know how intertwined that Jonathan was with Stephanie. So he's kind of like getting by, and Stephanie, poor Stephanie, was just the scapegoat for it. So yeah. Tiff and Jonathan really want Ozzy out. It is really crazy that Ozzy and Cirie are still in this game. Also Rizzo, just because they're not aware of Rizzo's capability because nobody's seen his season. So he has that going for him. But the fact that those two are still in here now, personally, I would want Cirie to win, yes. But if from a looking at it as a gamer, like Cirie, you don't let her get this far, right? Cirie is also kind of like traumatized, and because she wants to keep her people. However, if you don't remember, last time she was voted out by default because everyone around her had advantages in idols, and she was the only lone person left, so she had to go home. So she is trying to avoid having that happen to her. So she is trying to figure out a way to keep Ozzy and Rizzo around without their advantages, which is just tricky. So we get to this week's challenge, and it is basically they have to stand on top of this little thing in the middle of the ocean. They have to balance on it, and in different increments, they will move up into a smaller piece of the little thing that they're standing on. Now there is a twist that is going to happen, but Jeff is not going to tell them until the end of the challenge. Now, Tiff ends up winning this challenge, but then the producers are like, hold up, of course, we're watching the black woman extra close, and fair is fair, right? So she was the last person to lift her leg, so I'm glad that they did catch that, because, fair is fair. But however, that means that Jonathan wins by default. And if you can't remember, they reminded us that Jonathan actually won this last time they ran this challenge during his season, and the water was much choppier. It was crazy. They had a great ocean day, so the ocean was very calm, but Jonathan wins by default. Now we find out the twist that's going to happen. So there are going to be two eliminations tonight. So they're going to be divided into two separate tribes, and they're going to be separated for the remainder of the day. So each tribe will have their own tribal council, and Jonathan will be able to vote in both tribal councils. But not only that, he's able to go back and forth between the two tribes leading up to tribal council. This would have been such a great advantage for Tiff to have. It really would have been. All right, so I wrote down the two tribes. So Emily, Tiff, Cirie, and Devins are on one tribe, and then Ozzy, Rizzo, Aubrey, and Joe are on the other tribe. So of course we get back to camp, and immediately she sees the writing on the wall for her, so she's trying to just throw this Hail Mary pass, and Emily is trying to come up with this strategy where she is trying to convince Cirie that Devins will play his idol on her, and that way that they can vote Devins out. But Cirie is so damn smart, so she is figuring this thing out. But yes, Emily wants Cirie. I forgot all about Cirie's extra vote. I really did, but she has that in her back pocket. Sari is also concerned for Ozzy on the other tribe because she has no way to communicate with them and let him know that he should play his idol. And she really can't push for it too much with Jonathan to tell him because then that would, reveal her hand. So it's just not looking good for your boy Ozzy. And then we see on the other side, he is telling Aubrey his entire game plan, all of his whatever you want to call it, if you want to call it strategy, he's telling it all. And I'm sitting there and he's like, he's evolved this time and he's built this relationships, but I don't think Ozzy realized how much of a threat he is in the game of Survivor. He's been playing it for 20 years. And if I know that people will look at me as a threat, and if I've gone home already before with an idol in my pocket, Ozzy, why wouldn't you? Ozzy, you are not good at Survivor. You are good at challenges and winning, but in terms of strategy and just knowing how to play the game, no, Ozzy, you needed Sari, and when you didn't have Sari, your game fell apart. But I do think that Ozzy would be a liability to the threesome with Sari and Rizzo. I really do. I looked at him as a liability. Okay, so we get to tribal council and Sari's group goes first. And what ends up happening is Sari ends up playing her extra vote. So it ends up being a tie the first time, and then they have to revote, and they can only vote for either Sari or Emily. Now, during the second vote, I didn't know that they were like Emily and Sari were going to be allowed to vote. I don't know. I feel like the rules changed, or maybe it's just something I forgot, but I did not anticipate them being able to vote again, and then Sari able to use her extra vote again. That was a surprise, but once again, on day 21, Emily is voted out, and then she immediately joins the jury. I was very happy with that decision because I personally find Emily annoying in Survivor, so I am very happy with that decision. And then we get to Little Sweet Precious Baby, Ozzy's tribal council, and I'm like, play it, play it, play it, and everybody's looking at him, and he does not play his idol, and Ozzy is voted out, and it was just the saddest thing to watch because you kind of feel like this is his last time playing Survivor, and this is our last time watching him play Survivor. So it was just such a sad moment, and yeah, his torch was snuffed. But yeah, another jam-packed episode of Survivor. If you watch, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll chat with you guys in the next one. Peace.